Well, I've gone and done it this time. Some of you guys have been wondering where did I go in the last several days. I haven't posted anything. Well, the fact of the matter is I poked the giant a little too much, and the giant is trying to squash me. What do I mean by the giant? See that right there? Get the message? There are certain things that even in this day and age, we are just not allowed to talk about. And I don't think I really talked about anything that controversial, but I guess climate change is off limits, and calling this big company one of the heads of the beast. There's repercussions to that. So I've taken some time to do two things. One, strategize. How are we going to go forward? And two, we've been investigating. We've been talking with other YouTubers, comparing notes and their analytics, and also trying to get some information from a little bit of inside stuff, because it's a large enough corporation. There's a lot of people involved still. But anyway, we have determined that they do not like what I'm saying. And their stance on it is, we will not promote you. Okay. So I've been advised to not poke the giant anymore. So what do? When it comes to my family, we have a tendency to not like to hear that. I'll give you an example. My Uncle Steve, he and Facebook went at it. And he ended up in Facebook jail so often. And they were suppressing every single post for a while from him. And now his posts are completely acceptable. But during this time period, they were not. And he was going to battle with Facebook. And later, my uncle was found. He had died of natural causes outside his home. Not saying Facebook or Meta had anything to do with that, but that was one of the last things he did, was fight Facebook. And so here I am, and I've really been doing a lot of thinking. And I've been thinking about, can any of us who are just one person stand up against these giants? The answer is yes, we can stand up to them, but they're going to squash us. And there's no getting around that. They have all the power. They have monopolies. I have named a lot of these large corporations that are in a very monopolistic situation. Some of them, you can't even access your friends or family without going through their platform. And others, you can't even find places to purchase things without going through their store or platform. They get a cut of everything in your life. And so, no, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I've taken lots of walks, thought about this, talked with a lot of people, and I've even had some people really concerned for my safety. But I actually don't care. I do not care. But as a matter of being smart about it, because if you poke the giant too much and they shut you off and then you're not reaching anyone, then what good did that do? So, I started actually really coming to grips with what a losing battle all of this is. In a lot of my videos, I point out things with data centers and AI, a lot of AI problems, things that are bad for people, humanity. And guys, there's nothing we can do about this. These companies are way too big and they wield way too much power. It's something that we haven't always seen in our lifetime. In my earlier years, companies were allowed to be started, grow, flourish, and compete. And there was it was probably the better side of capitalism. Some of you guys are against capitalism, which is still the best thing going. The reason I say that is because look where the people want to run to. That's what it comes down to. Where do they want to run to? And my brother was pointing out something to me the other day about capitalism. He was in Egypt and other places recently, and he noticed how many little miniature capitalists there are. There's all these people, as soon as you get out of your taxi, they want to give you a tour of the place. There's all these people with vegetable stands, selling trinkets. I mean, these guys are not doing that because the government ordered them to. They're doing it because if they do a good job at it, they make a little more money. And if they make a little more money, they provide for their family, maybe something a little nicer, maybe just provide for them. But capitalism is actually located everywhere, even in communist nations. You have little pockets of capitalism. So capitalism itself is all right. But what happens when somebody takes advantage of it? What happens when a corporation becomes so large they become a monopoly? They actively try to destroy all smaller businesses. And then all these small businesses go out of business. All these people who were in business for themselves are not. But yet these big corporations remain. And never in our lifetimes have we seen this many large corporations become a monopoly all at once. And some of it is very coordinated. And then when you also factor in the government, it used to be that the government did try to stand up to monopolies, just like with Standard Oil and the Rockefellers. But that no longer exists because the monopolies nowadays own all of the news and information. They can put out anything they want. They can suppress anything they want. And if you're a politician and you want to stand up to them, they will crush you because they can put out stories on you that make you look like a really horrible criminal. They have that power. So the lawmakers in general are really scared of them. There's a few exceptions, But, they have to be careful with the large tech companies, because the large tech companies will not only crush them, but it will ruin their life. And so where does the government fit into this? Well, if they're able to have this much power over the elected officials, they also can work in conjunction with, and I think they do, with the three-letter agencies of the government. They can kind of help each other out. And the goal is to dominate and control. So the problem we've got right now is if we try to stand up, any of us, we're just going to be crushed. So how do these things end up coming down? They actually, a lot of times, will come down because they did something stupid to themselves. A large corporation can become so arrogant and complacent that it will rot from within and come crashing down. These corporations do not last forever. Just like governments, civilizations rise and fall, the corporations will have a shorter lifespan. So there's really not about much that, even a mass of people can do. Because if a corporation gets too much pressure, then they just put out more information and how great they are. So, I'm not trying to act totally defeated here, but, a person needs to, first of all, come to grips with where we're at. In the time frame we're living in right now, we have a lot of very large things in place that we are not powerful enough to change them. But this is the scenario. Think of it as a play. You're dropped in the middle of this play. Here's the backdrop. Here's the backstory. This is the world we got to deal with. This is our world. So, knowing we're in this situation, what do? Well, my goal still is to inform. When new things come out, I like to talk it out with you guys. Anytime I see an injustice or something really, really awful, I want to inform you about it so you know what's going on. But knowing what is going on, I do not want you to stop living. I don't want you to be so stressed out that you can't function. When I was digging into the AI stuff, and the further I dug into stuff, especially with the government, there were nights that I had a hard time sleeping because I just couldn't believe this. I was like, this is crazy. But, in the last week, I've had to start being more comfortable, not complacent, not accepting, but comfortable with the fact that I am in this situation. I'm in this world. So are you guys. And within this, and knowing it, then I can't stop living. I still need to work within it. It's like a framework. It's like a jacked up, screwed up framework. But we work within it. We adapt to it. And in the midst of everything, we try to enjoy our lives a little bit. Even people in prison, when they get some recreation time, they can go walk around. I mean, they get a little bit of time. It's not ideal, but for the rest of us, getting outside in nature, being with your friends, your family, if you can stand your family. I actually really enjoy my family. We have to not be super obsessed with this stuff. Let's be informed, but not obsessed. Because I do know people that are so obsessed they can't function. I know a guy that he keeps saying the moon landing's faked and he can't function. He just cannot function. And then there are other people that know about all this stuff that's going on and they wake up and they're stressed out. They go to bed, they're stressed out. But we got to know about this stuff and still live. What are you guys doing on the times that you're not thinking about this? Or are you thinking about this too much? We do need to push back on this stuff, but there's kind of a balance. And that's what I've had to find. And so I've been thinking on this channel, I've been talking solely about AI, but I think I'm going to veer into some other topics as well, because there's a lot more to this environment we're in than just AI. We've got other things, and some of the things I can cover for you guys are actually very interesting. Yes, some of it's very disturbing, but overall, I think there's a variety of things I can do. Let me know what you guys think about me poking the giant too much. Because in meetings with other YouTubers and analytics, we're comparing. My videos have been outperforming all of theirs. It's unbelievable. And my videos have been getting better and better. As soon as they're released, they go like crazy. And then within or less than 48 hours, YouTube shuts them down and stops showing them. Doesn't turn them off completely, but will not promote them, they said. So anyway, that's what's going on, and I wanted to show you guys something else that was kind of crazy. I wanted to show you that in our investigations, we did a lot of different things to really figure out what's going on with YouTube. One of the things that is widely known now is recently Google's Gemini, which is the AI for Google. Gemini has started taking over YouTube for a couple months now, at least. And so Gemini is determining how often our videos get seen and which videos it offers you. We're in an AI world now, guys. There's no people involved. It used to be what we called the algorithm, and now it's a chatbot. A chatbot is deciding. It's deciding what you're going to be exposed to and what you're not going to be exposed to. And the other thing I turned up, which is really, really silly. Gemini is created by Google. And Google is one of the top companies in AI. The top three are ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. And then, of course, behind them is Claude and Perplexity and others. But Google is a large company, and they can offer Gemini within your web searches and everything. It's supposed to be the state-of-the-art thing. But what I'm about to show you is I looked at something on my channel because I wanted to chase all leads. And on my channel, a tool that is based on Gemini. I think it's a channel AI assistant or whatever. Let's see what it's called. Yeah, it's a tool. It's a Gemini tool. And I thought, you know what? I'll look at the top of the screen, and there was this AI tool was offering to analyze my channel, and I thought, well, this ought to be interesting. But I found out right away that this state-of-the-art thing is really, really stupid. And so I clicked on summarize my latest video performance. And guys, this is proof that it's still really stupid. These things are really stupid. And I know I'm poking the giant again here, but you got to see this to believe it. Here's what it said. That's a fantastic title. Drunk History with a British Lord for your latest video published yesterday, December 15th, 2025. I never published any such video. So this got me going, what the heck is going on? So then I responded with this. You have no idea about my channel, do you? I didn't publish any such video yesterday. And it responded, I sincerely apologize for that mistake. You are absolutely right, and I apologize for providing you with completely incorrect information about your last video. That was my error, and I should have verified the information before responding. So then it got stupider after that and pointless. But instead of showing me my latest video and analysis on it, it brought up a video from 5 months ago and gave me analysis on that. And it said it was published yesterday. But it was published 5 months ago. So as you can see, even YouTubers, they have to deal with something that is oftentimes very unhelpful. So this is the world we're in. We're in a world where this stuff is forced on us in everything. Companies are inserting it in everything we do online. We're all affected by this. And the mistakes that these AIs make, they're aggravating to us, but they have no accountability. They just apologize. They're really good at apologizing, but they do not have any consequences. They can screw up, and you have to deal with it. Some of you guys have noticed that my channel is being throttled down or suppressed. You're not imagining it, but there are other workarounds. There definitely are other workarounds. So we'll just keep going, and we'll come up with some other topics that don't poke the giant as much. It's kind of hard not to do, but I can be very creative on that front. So let me know in the comments what you think about what I just said, and give me some encouragement. I always like to hear from you guys. So that's it. So remember, for everything we gain, there is something lost.